And don't fall asleep tonight, because I won't fall asleep tonight, not tonight. And don't fall asleep tonight, I won't let you fall. That's right, we won't let you fall, because this is American Brews and Tunes. Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity beeby dow! Wow! Welcome back to American Brews and Tunes.
Yes, willkommen. Bienvenue.
Yes. Bienvenidos.
Welcome.
Hunter.
What is that?
I don't know. It's my own language. For welcome.
Okay.
Welcome, one and all, to American Brews and Tunes, the podcast that puts two of the best things in the same place.
Two of the best things in the world together in the same place.
What is that? Brews and Tunes?
Yes,
beer
exactly.
and music.
Beer and music.
Yeah, right here.
This week is another one-off episode.
Yes, and it's one of the few ones recently that's not a recommendation one-off. This is one that we decided on.
Yeah, we're like, you know what? We love this album a lot. So let's talk about it and try new beers.
Yeah, and by we, I mean me, Steven, and Jesse. I guess we didn't introduce ourselves.
Oh, yeah.
Do we do this at the beginning of the podcast?
I think we used to. We used to be like, I'm Steven Johnston. And I'm Jesse Titus.
We always reiterate it at the end, but I can't remember if we ever did it at the beginning.
Well, okay, let's
rewind.
Welcome to American Brews and Tunes, everybody. My name's Jesse Titus.
And my name's Steven Johnston. And this is a one-off.
Yeah, it is.
A great one-off that we decided.
All right, now that we're all caught up, back to where we were before, as if we were
fast forward. Now we're back to where we were.
I am fairly excited about this album. We're talking about this album, I mean.
Me too. This is it's pretty high up there on my list of some of my favorite albums.
Yeah, same here.
And by one of my favorite bands as well.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we've talked about these guys on the podcast before.
I think so. We probably did.
Well,
so right about now, you guys might be like, what the heck?
What are these two randos talking about?
Why are they leaving us in suspense? Just tell us what the Galdern artist and Galdern album is.
Or if you're Jim from Fargo, you're probably like, oh shoot, what are they talking about?
Oh no, not again. They're just what's it called?
They're
dialoguing instead of telling us what they're going to talk about this episode of the podcast.
They're sending my blood pressure through the roof. Sorry, Jim.
Darn it.
We'll just tell you. We're talking about one of our favorite bands, the Swellers. And we're talking in particular about their final album.
Yes.
Well, currently, since they're technically broken up.
They're technically broken up.
Not on hiatus. They called it quits.
Yeah.
They called it a night, I guess, you know.
Yeah.
This album is called The Light Under Closed Doors, and it came out in
2013, yes.
What a great album. What a great band.
Yeah, they're a fantastic band. They're one of the bands that I was like, no, they broke up.
When they announced their breakup.
Yeah, I was very, very disappointed whenever they did.
Yeah, me too. I thought it was like a joke at first. Their tweet, because they're like,
oh yeah.
10 years ago today was our first practice. Now we're gonna quit. It was like something like that. I can't remember exactly what it was. But I was like, uh-oh.
Yep.
No.
I think you showed me that tweet because that was in college and I didn't have a smartphone, and I don't think I went on Twitter very much. And you were like, "Look at this, Jesse," and I was like, "What? Are they serious?"
I was like, "They're dead serious." Yeah, they had a farewell tour and I missed it, but that's okay.
Yeah, same here. But we did get to see them twice. Once at the Smiling Moose in Pittsburgh, right? Mm-hmm. And then the other one was
we saw them twice at the Smiling Moose.
Right. Yeah.
And once in a basement at a bowling alley in
Cleveland. Yeah.
And I saw them one other time at another place in Pittsburgh.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I saw them at. It's no longer a music venue, but it was called the Altar Bar.
Oh yeah, I forgot
they got rid of that
place.
Down. It's a bummer, but yeah, I'll get into that as soon as we start talking about the band. Let's go to the other portion of the podcast.
Yep. Let's switch gears here. Go from first to second, and then later we'll go back to first. We've got a local beer this week. Locale beer this week.
Not low-cal. It's probably high-cal.
It's probably high calorie,
if I had to guess.
But
this is from a brewery that both of Jesse and I have had beers from them on the past in this podcast.
Yes.
We both like this brewery very much, and I don't think I'd be wrong in saying that it's probably one of our most favorite Nashville breweries.
Yes, I would say so.
And it is Bearded Iris. And
Bearded Iris.
they're very, very, very good at New England style IPAs.
Yes, that's typically what they put out is a hazy, hoppy beer.
Smooth, juicy, fruity beer.
Yeah.
But this week we're gonna switch it up. With they've been doing some stouts every once in a while, and I picked up a couple stouts for us to try.
Yeah.
What is this stout, you ask? It's called Moon Dust, and I believe it's a collaboration with some brewery called Weldworks. Weldworks Brewing, but I don't really know much about Weldworks.
Neither do I. I wonder if
it was brewed in facility at Bearded Iris, but Weldworks maybe worked with them. I'm not entirely sure. We'll look it up later. Sorry for being slightly ill-informed, you guys.
Yeah,
Whoops.
sorry about that, everybody.
Sorry about that, but as you heard, it's called the Moon Dust. And why would it be called the Moon Dust?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. Whenever it's a stout, what do you think of whenever you, well, I guess if you're in the South, what do you think of whenever you hear the word moon?
You think of moon pies. Duh.
Yeah, moon pies, duh.
So that's what inspired this brew. Moon pies.
As a northerner, or being from Minnesota, I had never heard of moon pies until I moved to Tennessee.
See, my family always went to Myrtle Beach for vacation, so I saw the moon pies coming down. I used to get my triple decker moon pie on. I would get the vanilla, and I would get the banana, and they're good.
Ugh.
Oh, so good. I love moon pies.
I think I've had one since I've been down here, and they're okay.
I really like the you got to get the more than single decker because the single one's not so much. I don't like the singles.
Just like the single stuffed Oreo.
Yeah, meh. But anyway, this is the ingredients, or at least flavor profile that they say is graham, chocolate, mallows, lactose.
Yeah, so they did the classic Bearded Iris thing where they give like descriptors underneath the title of the beer.
Hilarious, great.
So we are going to, well, actually, I guess I should say it's ringing in at 8.2% ABV.
Which is not the highest we've had on the podcast, but it's pretty up there.
Yeah, I mean,
ABV speaking wise,
it's pretty good.
Yeah. So shall we crack these and pour them and see what we can see?
Yeah, we'll see what we can see and we'll taste what we can taste.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna pour this bad boy.
Well, like pretty much any other stout that we've had, it's as dark as the night.
Yes, it looks like it's molasses.
Yeah, I'd say so. It's got a nice tan, foamy head on the top.
I poured mine too slow, so I didn't really get that. But mine stayed there for a little bit.
I mean, smell-wise, can you get a little bit of graham out there? It smells like standard stout where you get the chocolatey. It kind of
does smell a little bit of graham.
I do smell a little bit of graham, a little bit of sweetness. I'm not so sure about the mallow, but I'm curious to see if the taste. I'm
curious to see if it comes through in the taste,
because they definitely have lactose in there, so that's going to give it a creaminess already.
Yeah.
So shall we give it the old
magic phrase?
Magic phrase and try the beers?
Yes, sounds good.
All right. Shibbity-beep-dow! Wow, that is really smooth. The smoothness of it makes me think of marshmallows in a way.
Yeah, that's a good point. And also chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate. I think I get a little bit of the mallowy flavor afterwards as well.
A lot of the breadiness of the graham.
Oh, big time, yeah.
It's really nice. It kind of hits you in like a weird bitter way. Weird bitter flavor. But you can tell that it's bready and not like
it's not bitter like a really dry stout, but
it's not bitter like a
more like bitter chocolate. But you get there's so much sweetness to this too.
There's a lot of sweetness.
It's not the sweetest stout I've ever had. I can assure you that.
It's pretty darn good though.
I like this quite a bit.
If I were to check this in on Untapped,
oh my goodness,
which I already did.
Hold on, before you finish that phrase, I just had an aftertaste right now of my second sip, and it tastes like I did just bite into a moon pie.
Really?
Yeah. I can kind of get that taste in my mouth.
Okay,
so I think they hit it spot on.
Maybe I should try to remember this taste and then tomorrow get a moon pie and try it.
Maybe, but maybe not.
Maybe, but maybe not.
You decide.
I think I might. Anyway, I've now checked this in on the best social media beer app, Untapped.
Might be the only social. Well, there's probably other ones.
I think there are other ones because remember Shoop had a different one, and
think
then
he
he had to transfer all of his over to
He used Rate Beer.
Yeah. But anyway, we converted him to Untapped because we were like, Shoop, get Untapped, it's better.
Yeah. Shout out to Shoop.
Yep, shout out to Shoop.
Shall we move on to the Swellers and let our viewers or listeners know if the beer changes as it warms up?
Yes, let's do that.
So, Swellers. My first experience with the Swellers was at a concert that I went to. It was either late freshman or early sophomore year of college for a band called 4 Year Strong.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to see them, and there was an opener called Gallows. I wanted to see them, a British punk band. And there was some random band called the Swellers that was opening. I was like, Swellers, who are they?
Yeah.
And I was instantly sold on their concert.
Really?
It was that good. So I went home, got a couple of their CDs, and the rest is, as they say, history.
Nice.
Yeah.
And then I believe I followed after that, after you showed me... What's their one really big song?
Best I Ever Had?
Best I Ever Had, yeah.
I probably was playing that left and right. I was like, these
Yeah.
guys are great!
Yeah, after you showed me that song, I was like, wow, this is great.
Yeah, and he was right. It was great. Yeah, so we went to some of their concerts, got to buy some of their new albums, and then in 2013, or it was either 2013 or 2014, one of those years, I think it was 2014, they called it quits and ended their career as a band.
Yep.
It's unfortunate. But they had a couple bands that came from their members.
Them, yeah.
So if you've ever
Two
heard of the
different
bands, Apology Tour or Baggage, those are the two brothers who were in the Swellers.
Yep.
And if we haven't said it before, they're from Flint, Michigan.
We have not said that before, and yes, they are.
Yeah, so that's nice.
Do you know the reason why they broke up?
I think it just wasn't going anywhere, and they were
Just wasn't really going well.
feeling
enough
like it
and-
wasn't going right. Yeah,
Interesting.
they had a lot of missed opportunities and wrong.
Yeah, they
wrong
really
calls.
did. It's really unfortunate.
Yeah, they should have been huge. I think.
I think so too. I mean, this album alone proves that they should have.
Yeah.
But
shall
because like we had said earlier, this album is in. I mean, like from what I've listened to, it's like in the top, at least top 10 or top 20 punk albums.
I'd say top
For me
20.
For me, anyway.
That's definitely up there. I really
Yeah.
like this a lot. They're a little bit more on the pop punk side, but there's a lot of punk influence there still.
Yeah.
Like sometimes there are pop punk bands that are way more pop than punk.
Yeah.
These guys have it all:
They do.
pop
they're-
sensibility, punk mentality, and great sounds.
Great sounds, great lyrics in this album.
Great times.
Really great drums in this album.
Great vibes.
Great vibes. But yeah, why don't we just get right into it, I guess.
Let's delve in. It's a fairly short album. Only
It is.
10
It's only
songs.
10 songs. And
None of the songs are super long.
I believe it lasts less than a half an hour.
If
Or either that or just around a half
probably
an hour.
around a half hour long, so it's not a long listen. You should all listen to it. Like the Blink-182 album that we reviewed, Enema of the State, I'm not going to give ratings for each song. I think all songs are fantastic. I don't think there are any skippers. I'm just going to talk about my one honorable mention and my 3 recommendations.
Okay, I will say that, and I believe I can speak for both of us in this, in saying this, that when we first listened to this album, we were like, oh, it's not that good.
Oh yeah,
Remember that?
yeah. We saw them when we saw them in the basement of that bowling alley. It was
Cleveland,
like the
right?
week. I think it was right before the album came out.
Yeah.
And they were selling it at the show. I was like, oh yeah, I get to buy it early.
Yeah.
So I bought it and we listened to it on the way back, and it wasn't as fast as their other records.
Yeah.
A lot more slowed down, some darker, heavier guitars, and I was like,
Yeah.
I'm not so sure if I'm sold on this. And then after a few more listens, I was sold.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very sold.
Yep. Yep. Anyway, back to track number 1.
Track number 1, which is called Should.
Should.
This is my honorable mention.
Okay.
Almost recommended, but
I did not recommend it, and I also didn't give an honorable mention this time around.
Hey, honorable mention or no honorable mention, you decide.
I have decided.
But I think you all should listen to this song. It's very catchy. The should is I should have stayed. That's what it says in the chorus. It's a really good song. It's just really, really catchy.
Yeah.
Good opener.
So I guess we should say that it seems like, because when did they announce that they're breaking up? After 2013, right? Or
I think it was 2014 they announced it.
Okay, so
either that or early 2015, somewhere in that ballpark.
It seems like this album is definitely a goodbye album.
Yeah,
Because
especially
it
with the
seems
last
like
track.
yeah, it seems like they knew what was happening
Yeah, I
then,
think so.
You know,
I think for sure.
So, I guess all these songs could be viewed through the lens of that.
It could be if
Through the
you
lens
choose to do
of,
so.
well, I mean, I think it probably should be.
Only if you want it to be.
Oh,
When you're the listener, you get to decide what lens.
true.
Yeah. No one can decide for you. People can influence, but it's up to you.
It's
up to
all
you.
Up to you.
You heard it here, you heard it first. As listeners, up to you which lens you get to put on the music. Wow.
Yeah, and it's also up to you if what lens you want to put on this podcast as well.
But if it's anything other than the lens of this podcast is the best podcast I've ever heard, then maybe you should listen to our lenses. Let's move on to track number 2.
Yeah, sounds good.
This song's called
Big
Big
Hearts.
Hearts. It's my first recommendation. I think it might be the catchiest, poppiest song on the whole album.
I think so too.
Potentially. And I don't think that's a bad thing by any means. I
No.
really, really, really think it's catchy.
I really dig this song.
Musically, it's great. Lyrically, it's
Give
great.
me a melody.
Give me a feeling. Give me something I can finally believe in. Just so good. Big Hearts.
Yeah.
I like what he talks about his bad back. Kind of about growing up and just kind of feeling like all that stuff.
Yep.
Yeah,
But also like the big title, Big Hearts. It seems like talking about all the people they've met over the years and whatnot.
Yeah, like the chorus. He says the
Big
same band,
hearts.
same girls, big hearts, small world, bad backs, the wrong tracks, the right time to come back. When you're up all night, it's the right time to come back again.
Yeah.
Blah blah blah. So that kind of exemplifies it. They've been in bands experiencing the same experiences for a while,
Yeah.
getting older with their bad backs,
Yeah.
putting in their hearts and everything.
Yeah.
It's a small world. It's just I don't know.
It's a very, very nice song.
When you put it through that lens that you were exemplifying earlier, maybe
Makes a lot of
makes
sense, right?
Yeah. Moving on to track number 3, it's just called
Got Social.
And
This is
it's a good song too.
It is.
I like it a lot. It's about being at a party and not fitting in almost, and
Yeah.
having a friend who became a social smoker.
yeah.
But it was more than just social, and they became part of the crowd and ditched him.
Yep.
And I
Yep.
think it's a metaphor just for like I don't know if it's necessarily based on one experience, but I think it's a metaphor for how that happens in general.
Yeah.
How people will fall in and out of friendships. People will join other
Right.
things. And
Falling in and out of
leave
like
people
groups
behind.
and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really good song. Really good song.
I got social and I don't like it.
Super catchy. Moving on.
Moving on, yeah.
The next song is called High Low.
Yep.
It's my second recommendation.
Oh wow, you're recommending a lot of songs that I did not recommend.
I think this song is really cool because it's got like one of the weirdest vibes, like the weirdest feels on it,
Yeah.
and it's in like that triple meter, like that do 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 ga do.
Yeah.
It's slower, and he uses a baritone guitar, and it's so deep and heavy sounding.
In my room.
Do, do, do. And they do a couple chord changes during the progression right before the verse starts. And if you listen to the progression, they do one time normal, and then the second time through that progression they switch it up a little bit. It's just those little minute details that I really like.
Yeah.
And I just like the feel of the song, and it's really good. I don't know. Other than that, I like it a lot.
Yeah, same. I guess I just didn't expect you to recommend these first ones. But
expect so
again,
much.
we don't need your
Expect the unexpected.
expect the unexpected.
Live life
whenever
unfiltered.
you're expecting live life unfiltered. What was that?
That's
What was that
beer.
a catchphrase for?
It's for some brewery. It's one of the wheat beers.
Live life unfiltered.
What's that one? Shock Top, right?
Oh, is it?
I think it's Shock Top.
Oh,
Maybe not. I could be
I think
wrong.
So.
If you guys know and we're wrong, let us know.
I thought you made that up.
I probably did. I don't know. I don't know.
Anyway.
It sounds familiar. Moving on to the next song, track number 5, which is called Great Lakes State.
This will be my honorable mention.
Okay, we'll go with that. Is Michigan the Great Lakes State?
Yeah.
Why?
What do you mean? Why?
I'm
It's
curious.
right by Lake Michigan.
Yeah, but Pennsylvania's got Erie. Same with Ohio. Is there more than one
There
Great
are
Lake
Great
in
Lake
Michigan?
states. Wait, what?
Does Michigan have more
What are
than
you
one
confused
great?
about?
No, just is
Great
because
Lakes
there are other
state?
states that touch
Well,
Great
yeah,
Lakes.
Michigan has.
Do they have more than one? That's all I
Michigan
wanna
has
know.
Lake Michigan and what is it?
Is it Superior? Huron? Okay. Are they? Do you think they're the only state that has more than one?
Well, I know Minnesota just touches Lake Superior. Let me look it up right now.
Yeah, Jesse's gonna look it up right now, and he honorably mentioned this one. I think this is a great song.
The beginning,
and
so
we
good.
are is this unfamiliar theme.
How about the drums at the beginning? Though?
Oh, the drums are great. Great drum fills. Drum fills.
It's Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. I was right. See?
Yeah. So
there's Michigan, the little glove.
So I don't know if Michigan is the only state that touches two Great Lakes, but maybe that's the reason why. But they talk about seals swimming across the Great Lakes in the chorus.
Well, it looks like New York also does, but
nah. Let's just forget about New York. They got a city.
They've got a city.
What else do you got to say about this one?
I really just love the drums in the beginning. It's so good.
I think you did a good job with that.
Yep.
Speaking of drums at the beginning, the next track, number 6, Becoming Self-Aware, also has great drums at the beginning.
First recommendation.
And it might be the fastest song on the record.
Yeah, it is definitely the fastest song on the record. And again, I'll say that I believe that it's a good lens to look through, the one that I mentioned at the beginning, because it seemed like this song, just by the title, is that they're becoming self-aware, like they're becoming aware of the fact that it's not going to work out.
Yeah, becoming self-aware. I half believe that I don't care anymore. Walking like an old man but feeling immature. So just kind of like growing up and realizing stuff. But in their context of the end of the band, maybe they're viewing it as the end of the band.
In the context of the end of the band.
You can call me Captain Obvious for the day. What up? Anything else to say about that one?
That's it.
Then we'll move on to my last recommendation.
Same here. That's my second recommendation. This one is.
What was the other one you recommended?
This next one is my second recommendation.
What was your first?
Becoming Self-Aware.
Oh, I didn't hear you say that. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is my last and Jesse's second.
Yep.
It's called Friends Again, in parentheses, We Can't Be.
Yeah.
This has a different kind of feel also.
It does,
than some of the other songs. And it's just really good song about people who can't be friends again.
Yep.
And it feels like he talks about some real specific instances. Like the first line is, remember when we danced to Louisiana Band? So it sounds like specific instances.
When we danced to
Louisiana Band
the whole night through, and it's
But there's one line in the first chorus that I really, really like melodically, like his melodic pattern. It's when he says, the first time it says, we can't be friends again. To be honest, we can't be. And he doesn't do that the second time in the chorus, but the first time. And every time I hear that the first time, I'm like, oh, nice. I just really like that. And I think the whole song is super duper catchy.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just really good.
Probably my favorite song on the album, I think.
So it's about him losing a friend?
I think so, yeah.
Do you think it's in relation maybe to Got Social?
Could be, yeah.
Yeah, because the two kind of have similar themes, per se.
Yeah. They definitely do.
Great song, though. Great song.
So that makes me wonder if it's like talking about a specific person, maybe.
Maybe they can't be friends with their bandmates no more. JK. JK.
They left on good terms, right?
I think they did. They had a farewell tour. Like they was all happy. They were posting all about it. They recorded their final concert and it's on YouTube. It's so good.
That's pretty sweet.
That's so good.
I'm gonna have to listen to that later tonight.
All right, moving on
to track number 8.
This is called Designated Driver.
Designated Driver.
Even if you're just taking this out of context, it's always great to have a designated driver.
Yeah, I mean, what party doesn't like a DD?
Well, I don't know if you like it, but you need it. If you're going out to have a good time, be responsible, you guys.
Maybe you're getting just a little bit too silly.
Yeah.
But one person has to be like, hey guys, enough jokes, please.
I gotta drive.
I'll drive you home.
Exactly. Anyways, what do you think of this song?
I like it.
On the wrong side of the bed.
This is after I started liking this album.
I know you want me to. Great chorus, great verse.
Yeah.
It's where you wanna be.
It's right in front of me.
There are no songs.
That's okay.
No songs on this album that are not catchy.
Yeah, it's very true.
Every song is catchy, including this one. And I don't recommend it, and it's not my honorable mention. But in a way, I do recommend it.
It's so good.
Because I recommend the whole album. It's a great song.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole reason we're doing this one-off episode is because we love the whole album.
Shall we move on?
Yes.
The penultimate track is called Favorite Tune.
Third recommendation.
I wasn't. I thought you were gonna pick the last one. That's what I was.
I almost
thinking.
did. I almost did, but
Yeah. So why'd you pick this one?
I don't know. It literally just comes down to like whenever this one comes on, I'm always like, oh yeah, like this is so good. Just a little bit, like 5% more than I do for every other song.
Yeah. And I think it's
If
about.
that makes sense.
I think it's also about a good friend or maybe someone who you're in a relationship with. And like the hook in the chorus is "You always knew my favorite tune."
Yeah.
Like every time I fell, you always knew my favorite tune. So
Yeah.
when you're having a, I don't know if he's talking about music in particular, or if it's a metaphor for something else. But when he's having a bad time, someone's always there to pick him up or
Yeah, your favorite tune.
remind
is
him
in,
of
like,
something good.
Yeah, favorite tune is in
Good
like,
message, great song.
Pick me up. Yeah.
So catchy.
Yep. It really is.
Shall we move on to the last song that the Swellers ever put on an album?
Yes, we shall.
Well, technically not.
True. When
There was a compilation album. I don't know if you guys are aware, but Flint, Michigan had a lot of problems with drinking water, the public water system, where it was poisoned with lead.
Yep.
Not good. And it was a lot of government stuff, like a lot of weird stuff. Investigate it for yourself if you want to, but some of the guys from the Swellers put some benefits together for Flint, and the Swellers put a track on that album about, I think the album was called Not Safe to Drink. I can't remember the name of the Swellers song off the top of my head. It was really good, whatever it was. I can't remember. But coming back to this album, the last song on this album is called Call It a Night.
Yeah.
And literally after this song, the Swellers call it a night.
Yeah. We can call it a night.
And
regress and rewind.
What some of my favorite parts is like some of the last lines in the song. I'm out of places to go. I'm done shoveling snow.
Yeah, they talk.
So out of places to go is like a reference to that EP.
Yeah.
And I'm done shoveling snow is a reference to, I think it's called Parkway Drive. No,
it's one of the songs on.
It's on an album called Good for Me.
Yeah.
So those are all songs to their past, but they're done.
They're
out of places to go.
Yeah, referencing.
What's the name of
their
that EP? Running Out of Places to Go.
Downsizing.
Running Out of Places to Go.
Running Out of Places to Go. Yeah.
So they reference some of their back catalog in there, but they're done shoveling snow. They're out of places to go.
Yeah.
Instead of running out of places, they're out.
Yeah.
So they call it a night. They're done.
Yep.
And I think that's a great place for a band to end. Don't get me wrong. I think I would be ecstatic if the Swellers got back together and put out new music.
Yeah.
But if they don't,
it's a good.
They ended on a good note.
Yeah.
And kind of like in like if I want to be poetic about it, this kind of helps romanticize the band almost a little bit. Like they ended so good. They ended almost too good. It was perfect.
Yeah.
Like their last album is almost probably my favorite album from their catalog.
Mm-hmm.
I like every album that they released, but from the end on this is really good.
Yeah,
really cool.
it's and that's maybe one of the reasons why I would say that it's in my top 20 favorite albums.
Context and just the context and the content together. Yeah. So good.
And the album cover as well.
The album cover is really good. It looks like someone drew it. A dude standing with a cage as a bird flies away and there's smoke.
Yeah, so it's like letting that bird. What is that? The
free.
Phrase? Let the
bird free.
No, it's
let it out the cage.
Let your love go free, or if you love it, let it go, or whatever.
Yeah, but also if you look at the artwork in the album, there's some cool stuff. That does, but that's a There's one where the same guy with his back and his hoodie is standing in front of a closed amusement park. That's a reference to their album called Ups and Downsizing.
Oh yeah.
But there's one picture in the booklet or the insert for the record where there's a kid sitting in his chair, and on his poster is two girls. What's it called when you're being pulled by a boat and you're surfing? Water skiing, and some guy sitting in the back of the boat taking a picture. And that is 100% a reference to No Use for a Name's album called More Betterness.
Oh yeah, because you asked.
I tweeted
them,
it as far as I was like,
oh yeah.
I was like, hey guys, is this a No Use for a Name reference? And they're like, yeah, man. And I was like, they responded. Yeah, I've made it in life. Yeah. So that was a good day.
Funny. Hey, maybe the Swellers are listening.
I certainly hope so. We'll tweet them.
Great album, guys.
Yeah, great album.
Thank you for making your music, because it's bomb. It's
it
dope.
is. And I think we met the Swellers a couple times when we saw them.
Yeah, we met them at the Smiling Moose.
Very, very nice people.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Anyways, if you guys have listened to us before, you know we do recommendations. So if you want us to review an album,
Yes, we do fan recommendations.
hit us up either on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. You can look us up at American Brews and Tunes. We have an email, which is americanbrewsandtunes@gmail.com, or you could hit us up on our website, which is brewsandtunespodcast.com.
Yep. And if you send us a direct message on like Instagram or something like that, make sure to, in the beginning portion of your messages, say like, hey, I have a recommendation for you guys. Because like we have to like accept or decline messages. And a lot of times there are like these weird people who like
Let's show us
message you.
how to boost your blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they're like, hey, do you want to get more followers on Instagram?
Well, yeah, but not from you, you stupid,
And I was like,
you stupid
heck
robot
no.
person.
You robot? You
The
crazy
only
robot?
robots I like is the robot from Short Circuit and from Star Wars.
Short Circuit.
Did you ever see that movie?
What is that?
You never seen Short Circuit?
I don't think so.
Oh, it's that great. It was this robot that was created by the government as like a killing machine, but he got like hit by lightning, so
He got
had a short
short-circuited?
circuit. And then he was a friendly robot.
What's the
Great movie.
is the Iron Giant, is he a robot?
Oh, that's like the same premise, Iron Giant. Yes,
Oh, really?
he's a robot. Remember he was a killing... Oh, no, he was an alien.
I've also never seen it.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding.
Oh, I love the Iron Giant. It's
Is
phenomenal.
it called the Iron Giant?
Literally, it's called the Iron Giant.
Oh, okay.
I believe he was from outer space and he was friendly, but he was a killing machine.
But then he met this little boy, and then it became the Giving Tree.
Yeah, something like that. But great movie. If you haven't seen that, you gotta look that up, man.
I do need to look that up, dude.
Funny enough, though, do you know who voices the Iron Giant?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
I actually did know that he did.
Yeah.
That's
I'm
weird.
Vin Diesel.
For those of you who couldn't understand what Steve said, I believe he said, "I'm Vin Diesel."
Yeah, let me do it again.
I'm Vin Diesel. I'm Vin Diesel.
Do your best Vin Diesel impersonation.
Okay. Hey, let's go.
He's like Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Okay, babe. No. Hold on.
Just say
I'm like
this.
starting to make a voice.
Do Fast and Furious. Say, let's race cars. Like,
Let's race cars.
that's not a Vin Diesel impression. That's what he says in Fast and Furious too. Direct quote.
Direct quote.
Hey, let's race cars.
I can't make my voice like
Let's race
like I can't make it low
cars.
enough. He has such a low voice.
I'll do it Batman.
Let's race cars.
He's like, let's race cars.
It's best when you do Batman.
Let's race cars.
Oh my gosh.
Anyways, you guys, Iron Giant's
anyway.
great. The Swellers are great. We love it all. This beer is great.
If you haven't listened to the Swellers yet, really give them a listen because they're fantastic.
They are.
So
I think we touched upon it last episode, but let's just give everyone a refresher about the albums we're going to listen to next week in review.
sounds like a Plizzan.
So what I recommended for you was a classic album by Ben Folds, and it was actually his first solo endeavor. It's called
Okay.
Rockin' the Suburbs. Great album, and it's not a punk album. I know I always recommend them, but it's different.
You know, it's okay if you go a
because
little bit
I
out.
really like this Ben Folds album, and I think,
Yeah.
at least I hope that you will too.
I hope I will too. And I'm going to recommend, or I have recommended, just as a refresher, the album Twin Fantasy by Car Seat Headrest.
What an interesting name.
It is. They're a very, very good band. Very interesting band.
I'm curious.
So, I've been really into this album recently, so I hope that you also find enthusiasm for it.
Well, sometimes you and I don't have the same tastes, but we'll
Very
see.
true. That's a very good point.
Anyways, thank you guys so much for listening.
Well, why don't we give a little last thoughts on this beer?
Oh yes, what do you think now that it's a little bit warmer?
Just as a refresher, we are having Bearded Iris and Weldworks Brewing collaboration called Moon Dust, which is an imperial milk stout with the flavors of graham, chocolate, mallows, and lactose.
Taste-wise, I think it's pretty similar, but it almost feels thicker.
It definitely feels thicker.
It's weird.
And I don't know if that's just because we've been drinking the same thing for so long.
Could be.
Well, that would make sense as to why it would seem thinner, right?
Thicker.
I think maybe as it's gotten warmer, it's gotten thicker, as it feels
Could
thicker,
be.
as a
Could
thicker,
be.
as a thicker mouth feel.
Agreed. But it's still great.
It's
Flavor's
still
pretty spot on.
A really
still.
nice kind of bitter, bready chocolate flavor.
Yeah.
Bitter as in dark chocolate, not as in
And
like
creamy and
hops.
delicious, like a mallow.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's really good.
Yeah, let's give the 1-2 cheers and finish our beers and then sign off.
Sounds like a plan.
Shibbity-bee-boo-doo! Once again, my name is Steven Johnston.
And my name is Jesse Tess.
And this is American Brews and Tunes!
Here's a theme song, you know it's not a mean song. It's a good song, just as it should song. American Brews and Tunes. Shibbity-beeby-da!